Join me in welcoming Jessica Chinyelu. Hey, Jessica, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic, Steve. Thank you so much for asking and having me. How about you?
I'm doing really good, thanks. I'm really looking forward to an exciting last week of our month here for those that are listening live. So, tell us a little bit about you and how you show up in the world.
Yes, thank you again, Steve, for having me on. So, I'm Jessica Chinyelu, and I am a part time content creator and influencer, but a full time corporate sponsorship strategist. And if any of you are unfamiliar with what that means, I basically teach people how to land the partnerships or corporate sponsorships of their dreams. So, if you're someone who hosts events, maybe you're a podcaster, an author, or even an influencer, or an online course creator, I'm your go to person to help you put together your events, get partnerships for them. And I teach people through my online course, Sponsored and Secured. I also do train teams. So if you're someone that's looking more for like a done with you service, I train teams on how to do exactly what I do. Or there are those out there who like, I'm just way too busy. I have too much going on in my company. So I'd love to have a done for you service, and my consulting firm offers that as well. So I have a lot of fun. I've been doing this for about 10 years. Absolutely love it. And it's been so much fun helping people fund the events of their dreams.
So, now does it work the same for live and virtual events, or is there nuances between those?
That is an incredible question. So, we all know that 2020 was a really crazy year, and we saw a shift. Everything went virtual. So, yes, it does work for live events as well as in person. Just had an event for one of my clients a couple of weeks ago, and she actually did a hybrid event where there was a combination of a live component as well as a virtual component. So, you can definitely land corporate sponsors for a virtual event as well.
I'm going to put what probably should be the end of the conversation first here because I'm dying of curiosity, and then I want to really deep dive into this. How much money do I need to have up front to have you just handle all that part for me for an event?
Yes, that's a great question. You have some amazing questions, and you're like, let's dive into it. So, my firm, we operate on a retainer fee. For those who want us to come in and do a done for you service, that retainer fee, it starts at 3,000 per month and can go it range from anywhere between 3,000 and 5,000 per month if it's a done for you service. Now with that done for you service, it includes us handling all of the admin piece when it comes to pitching to brands. It's myself as well as a team of three others, and we are pitching hardcore for you. So we help you establish the solid foundation. What are your assets? What's your value proposition? What are the best fit brands for the event that you're hosting or the programs that you're offering? If you are a nonprofit organization, because we work with nonprofits as well, we develop your sponsorship proposal and we pitch that. So we ask you, do you have any wish list brands that you'd love to work with? We're going to tell you if it's a good fit or if it's not a good fit. Maybe find some competitors. We do the research, we put together the proposal, we do the outreach, and we even create the fulfillment report after the campaign has been activated to try and land you a renewal contract with the brand. We never want you to just work with the brand one time. We want you to continue to build that relationship because it's a partnership. So we want to ensure that we go for that renewal contract and make this a long-term partnership versus just a one event deal.
Oh, wow. I am so sparked. Let's do an event right now. Let's plan one. um, in all seriousness, though, you know, let's back up a half a step and talk about an event. How long should a person really be thinking between now and when they should do the event? Is it days, weeks, months, 2 years? What's a good time frame?
Yeah, so Steve, it really just depends on how large your event is. Is this your first time hosting an event? Do you have any case studies to back up that your event truly is a valuable asset for a brand to come on and give you, 4, 5, or 6 figures or millions? Again, just depending on how large the size of your event is. So I would say for someone who has a pretty established brand, maybe you've had partnerships or sponsorships in the past, you could do this and land, a decent amount of money within 3 to 6 months or 6 to 9 months. Now, for someone who's just getting started, I would highly recommend anywhere from 12 to 18 months for the planning aspect, but also if you're looking to secure a significant amount of money in corporate sponsorships, then you want to take time to nurture those relationships. Because as you and I both know, relationships are key. You never want to just go in and make your big ask. You want to take time to have good conversations, establish like, hey, a discovery call, and if that brand, what their needs are, what their marketing objectives are, what they're trying to do as a company as a whole, and understand really if it's a good fit. The relationship building is what takes time.
That makes so much sense. So, um, now is the 12 to 18 months, is that if I'm doing it and you're just advising me, or is it still 12 to 18 months for a first event when you're going to do it all for me?
Yeah, you have great follow-up questions. I love your style. So if you are working with me, we typically like to have at least 9 months if it's a first time event. If this is your first time, you're a new organization, you're just starting up, or you're a new nonprofit, we would love to have at least 9 months. Now, my team and I, we typically see we are able to land a first time sponsor for new brands, usually within 90 days, anywhere from 90 to 120 days. Now, if you're just getting started, we like to be very upfront and say, hey, don't expect, the 6 figures or the millions because you're just getting started. And I'm pretty sure you don't, without any case studies, it's going to be a little difficult to try and get in the 6 figure range or the million mark. But what we like to do is say we can get you anywhere from 4 to 5 figures with at least one brand within 90 to 120 days.
I'm asking all these questions totally for me. The listener can just listen in. This is all totally for an event you're going to do for me. How's that for a buying signal? But in all, so what if it's been, well, let me ask it a different way. What if the event I want to do has nothing to do with the events that I did previously, and it's been a decade since I did them?
That's totally fine. I think, you have to think about you are the person behind your brand and everything that you do. So if you were able to host amazing events or programs a decade ago, I'm very sure that you would be able to do the same thing now. And so it's about taking what you've done in the past and making that valuable or presenting that as value to the brands in which you're reaching out to. You are the person that tells the story. You are the story. It's more than just the brand. And I think sometimes, because I get this question all the time, like, oh, do I need to have, thousands of followers to secure sponsors? Or do I need to have this? Or do I need to have that? I think I'd like to tell people have a groundbreaking story, have a groundbreaking mission, have groundbreaking case studies that really can prove that you're worth it and you're worth their time. And that at the end of this campaign or at the end of this cause marketing initiative that this brand is partnering with you on, that there's going to be some type of ROI. We always have to remember that piece because that's huge. And how do we get to that ROI? Are we sending someone down a funnel? And that's why that discovery call in the very beginning is key when you're connecting with these brands. It's also really important, Steve, that, with what you've done in the past, that's great. Those are great things to communicate. But another thing that you can think about is before you even reach out to an institution, you want to find out, do a ton of market research. What are their current offerings? Where are some things where they're having problem areas, and how can you be a solution? So maybe something that you've done over a decade ago could be, in fact, a solution for that brand. And it's up to us as a team to help you put those pieces together of how you can be the solution for this brand.
You have my mind spinning in such a great way. Uh, this last year has been so tough in so many ways. Every event was canceled, all of that kind of stuff. Do you see that there's more of a move to virtual events, or is the world starting to open back up again?
Yeah, so I was actually just speaking with an event planner a couple of days ago, and she sent out a survey to many of her corporate clients. And in that survey, she specifically asked, when the world opens back up, are you going to continue with virtual events, or are you going to just move forward, go back to 100% events in person? And over 75% of these brands and her corporate clients said that we are going to keep the virtual piece. And the reason being is because a couple of things. You actually have a larger reach when you go virtual or digital. Why? Because if you're hosting an event that is virtual or digital, you can now invite everyone in the world and save them the money from having to hop on a plane, pay for lodging expenses, pay for meals. They can simply do everything right there in front of their computer at home. There are some people that crave that in person experience. But even without getting the in person experience, if you have a great planner and you're a great event curator, then you're going to create a really amazing experience for your virtual attendees by using a great platform, tech platform to host your virtual events. So I don't think that we're going to see virtual go away. And a lot of these big companies, they're seeing that it's saving them money to go virtual instead of in person. Do I think that we're going to, go back to having those in-person events? Absolutely. Are we going to see them happen as often and see these big companies hosting them as often as they once did before? No. No, absolutely not. Especially since we've now seen the engagement. If virtual event is done the right way, there's a very high engagement rate. The networking and connection opportunities to connect with people all over the world or globally, they're seeing a lot of success there. And if you have a really good marketing team, and if you have good event activations, which are huge, event activations for digital things, that's big. If you've got a great strategy there, it's going to be a win. And that's the key. Those are the key reasons why I don't think you're going to see virtual going anywhere. It's here to stay.
I was just going to ask you, I love that word, digital activations. So, when you go to a live event, there's all of the stuff that happens in the hallway and at lunch and all of those kind of things. And of course, obviously, that's not going to happen virtually. What do you do to replace that and make it still as impactful and connecting as what those are?
Yeah, it's so funny that you said, there's no way that that can happen. And that's why it's important to research tools out there, digital event tools out there to help you create those type of experiences. So there's a platform called Hopin. There's also an event app called Wova, where they actually have created a digital way to create that experience. So you can have vendors with vendor booths, and they can actually purchase that space. So whilst the main stage is happening, your general session is happening. When they go out into their breakout sessions, if there's a 30-minute break, they now close the general session doors, virtual doors, and now everyone is placed into a room virtually where it's just virtual hallway of just vendors and sponsor booth. And when you have the option to actually walk into these rooms, virtually walk into them, And then you'll pop in and you'll see the owners or the founders or the presidents or the sponsor representatives right there on the computer. So Hopin and Wova actually allow you to do that. I've seen people try to achieve the same thing with Zoom, but I just don't think that Zoom has quite arrived to handle something that sophisticated where you can create virtual sponsor booths or sponsor activation booths. But Hopin and Wova are in two very incredible platforms that can help you create that type of experience. Another thing is, when you think about your stage, you can create all kinds of unique backgrounds that you could have your graphic designer design. And that real estate, that virtual stage real estate, is something that you can offer a sponsor. Give them naming rights to that. Give them naming rights to a stage or to a virtual breakout room. Give them speaker opportunities. Something else that you can offer as well. You think about it, look at it like this. So I'm big on ROI. And figuring out, like, if I'm going to host a digital event, when we hosted in-person events, it was big on, we're going to have swag bags and we want sponsors to, we want them to be on the gift bags, and we want them to be on the step and repeats, and we want them to be on the audio visual screens. We're moving further and further away from that. But if you can go to a brand that maybe offers, I saw a really cool activation a couple of weeks ago for a virtual event where they partnered with Salesforce. And basically, the idea was, hey, we've got a database of about 6 to 8,000 people. And they probably had more than that. But their partnership with Salesforce is Salesforce offered every single attendee a 3-month subscription with them, or free trial with all of the attendees. So now what Salesforce has done is, hey, if you've got 6,000 people attending your virtual event, or however many people, they've now gotten their contact information. They've now gotten a ton of leads, and that are probably more than likely going to convert, because these are all salespeople that were a part of this event. And so when you go virtual, it's super easy to convert those people versus in person. And then Salesforce is giving this presentation. They didn't even have to have Salesforce do a presentation. They just simply said, hey, we're going to have these influencers speak at this event that have been using Salesforce for a while. Let's let them sell it. And then we're going to have some email follow-up or an email sequence that goes out that's going to have the direct link for people who attended to sign up for this event, sign up for this free trial. So those are things that you can do and have a larger reach versus doing something where it's in person. It's so boring. I think that digital component is huge. Even offering affiliate codes. We're seeing a lot more affiliate links where companies are saying, if we're going to sponsor, let's throw the affiliate marketing piece in there. And let's see what kind of conversion we see there. And then in your reports, if everything goes well and you market it well from in the digital aspect, then guess what? They're likely to partner with you again and also increase the sponsorship dollar the second time around.
So I've been being totally selfish with your time. I do want to be mindful of our listeners. For the listener who they have a very, very small following and maybe no mail list at all, what, first of all, is it even possible? And what is step one for them to do to get started thinking about putting together an event?
Yeah, really good, because a lot of people come to me in those early stages where they're just getting started. They do not have a lot of followers, and those are actually my favorites. Foundation building is key. If you have never hosted an event before, maybe you're someone who has, 100 or 1,000 followers on Instagram, this is your time to get your programs in order, get the foundation in order, get those case studies together. So you may be wondering, how do I go out and get those case studies? Well, first off, start hosting small, intimate events that you can fund on your own, or that don't require spending any money at all. It could be something as simple as, I'm going to do a free training, or I'm going to do a free workshop, and I'm going to create a campaign all around this free workshop on. It could be something like, for what I do, how to partnerships. Well, if you're going to develop strategic partnerships, you need to have a follow up. Maybe I'll say, I guess I'll reach out to maybe Asana or HubSpot or even Salesforce. Through that free workshop that I put on, maybe I run an ad on it, maybe not, only just promote it out to my email list. If I don't have an email list, I'm just inviting my circle. But I use that as a way to start getting some type of data, even if there are only 20 people that show up or 50 people. I had a meeting with Toyota, and one of the questions that I asked them is, what is your biggest pet peeve when you get brands reaching out to you? And they said this. First pet peeve is when someone or an individual has not done the research to see if we even sponsor these type of events. So you want to make sure that as a first step, after you get your foundation together, you put some kind of like small case study together, then develop that sponsorship wish list and start researching the brands that are on your wish list to ensure that it's even a good fit and there's alignment, because you always want to ensure there's alignment. The second thing that they said that was really annoying to them is when they ask an individual, why should we sponsor you or why should we participate in this event? And they said, we can't stand it when someone comes to us and says, oh, well, because our CEO and founder has like 100,000 followers or 1 million followers on Twitter. They would rather work with the person that has 100 raving fans versus the person that has 1 million followers on Twitter or Instagram and they're not engaged at all. Data is everything. That's why that foundation piece is huge. So when you foundation includes, your programs. What are the programs that you're going to be offering over the next year or 2 years or 3 years? Are those programs broken down into the who, what, when, where, why? Who meaning who do you serve? Who's the target audience? Does that target audience fit the same target audience of the brand that you're trying to reach out to? What is the problem that you are solving in the audience, in your current audience, when they come to your program or when they come to your event? When is the event happening? Where is it happening? Is it virtual or do you have a space? What are going to be the takeaways? What are they going to walk away with? And if a sponsor is going to partner with you on this event, what are they going to gain? What are going to be the big benefits, which are the assets that you're going to presenting? Also, in this foundation phase, when you're building that foundation, is this clearly communicated on your website? So if you're someone that's planning an event, or if there's a program that you have within your organization or within your brand, it's easily accessible. So if you reach out, you send a pitch email to a brand, if they go research you, they're able to see that, oh, yes, I see that article that was written about her, or I see that even with her 100 followers on Instagram, she's talking about exactly what she's pitching to us in this email, or exactly what she's pitching to us in this proposal. You want to make sure that they see, I call them reputation assets. You want to ensure that they are able to see those reputation assets. Have all your ducks in a row when it comes to that website. If you do not have a website, I highly recommend that you get one if you're going to be pitching. And whatever it is that you're pitching, it is clearly there. Even if it's a coming soon, it's there. They can see it and it's visible. It has to be visible in order for that to work. Forget about trying to have a lot of followers. Make sure that you have those reputation assets in place.
Oh, that's such good stuff. I appreciate it all so much. So, for somebody that wants to engage with you, small or big, how do they get that conversation started?
Yes, I absolutely love Instagram and I love Clubhouse. That's the new phenomenon that's happening, and I've connected with so many great people. I usually always recommend hit me up on Instagram. If you are listening and you have just a really quick question and you're like, oh man, I need to hear this. I have another question. How can I do this? You can just follow me on Instagram at Jessica Chinyelu. Send me a DM specifically with your question. Now, if it's like, nah, I have loads of questions, I need to hop on a call, then you can click the link in my bio and there's an option for you to schedule a call with me. The other thing that you can do is go to www.thesponsorshiplady.com. When you go on there, you'll see a couple of different things. all the different ways in which you can work with me. One of them being my course. If you are someone who's just getting started, the best way and the least expensive way is to sign up for my course, Sponsored and Secured. It's an 8-week program where I literally walk you through the step-by-step process, especially those who are just getting started. I walk you through the step-by-step process of how to land your first corporate sponsor. Even if you've already landed sponsors before, but you're like, I'm trying to get beyond the $1,000 or $2,000. I'm looking to get to 5 figures or 6 figures. This is a course for you. Now, with the course, I have everyone on a track to at least reach $1,000 within 90 days or less. It's so doable. So that is for the people who are in the beginning phases. Now, if you're someone who's like, I really need more one-on-one support, I have an application on my website. Again, it's thesponsorshiplady.com, and you can fill out that application to work with me. If you're like, I need to hop on a call now, like I said, click the link in my bio. And if you are interested for that done for you service, I do have an application. Shoot me a DM and I can send that link over to you to apply. But those are the ways in which you can start connecting with me and engaging with me and having some conversations. I love sending voice notes on Instagram because I think it's just a super personable way to connect with people. And sometimes you may just have a really quick question. I'm always happy to answer those super quick questions.
You are so awesome, Jessica. Thank you so much for spending some time with us here on the show today.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I absolutely enjoyed the time, Steve. Thank you.